Hello, I'm student 964522, and this is my vlog on police use of force, critical analysis. The question I'll be looking into is it time to routinely arm the police? What I want to talk about in this vlog is what is force, a quick explanation into what force is and how modern day police use force, how force has developed over time in the police, a look over how police use of force has shaped modern policing, events where police use of force failed to keep public safe, events where lack of police force resulted in harm, and finally, opinions from police and public on routine arming. So what do we mean by force? Force is the amount of effort required by police to compel compliance by an unwilling subject. With each individual, police have to adapt and react to the situation, sticking to a continuum of force. Well, what is the continuum of force? The continuum of force is a 5-level process used to deter individuals. Level 1, officer presence. The physical appearance of an officer will deter the situation to a halt. However, if this fails, level 2 will begin. Verbal commands. Clear and deliberate commands to the individual to stop them. Following on from that is level 3. Soft techniques such as wrist locks and handcuffs will be applied to the individual. If the threat is more serious, level 4 will follow. Harder techniques such as strikes and takedowns to restrain the individual. If all else fails, level 5 will take place. Deadly force. Deadly force with the use of firearms to vital areas to stop the individual at any cost. So can the police carry out the 5 levels of force effectively? With the equipment police have access to, such as handcuffs, they can achieve level 3. With other equipment, such as incapacitant sprays and metal batons, they can achieve level 4. However, can they achieve level 5? With the equipment available, officers cannot access firearms easily, so use of deadly force is near impossible. Was it always like this, though? From the early days of policing in England and Wales, wooden truncheons were used until the mid-1990s, where they were changed to batons. No firearms are issued for officers. Only trained units such as Armed Response carry firearms in the UK. Tasers were also used. In 2008, they were to be carried by non-firearm officers, and by 2011, police were routinely armed with tasers. All these methods are a sort of community-based policy, whereas implementing firearms would make it a zero-tolerance policy. Well, what is zero-tolerance policing? It's a very militarized type of policing, a first response to show maximum amount of force and authority. With this type of policing, many stages of the continuum are missed, leading to a total show of force. However, a total show of force cannot always be successful, as shown by the Stockwell Tube shooting of John Jules Jimenez, an innocent man shot dead by police after false information. John was thought to have been a terrorist and shot on sight. In the end of the case, after a few verdicts, unlawful killing was excluded. Could this have been handled differently without firearms? Another victim to an unlawful killing was Mark Duggan. In 2011, he was a known drug dealer and dangerous individual. After poor intelligence, he was seen leaving a minicab and shot dead to the intelligence that he had a firearm. After a majority verdict, he was deemed legally killed. However, many of his family and friends still see him as being executed by the police. So why not arm? As Squires and Kensington say, that it is wrong to think that armed officers on the street are not going to use their guns more. They continue to say, carrying a gun changes the dynamics of any encounter between police and the public. With those statements in mind, would the use of force have changed the outcome of some of these events? The Raoul Moat case. Raoul Moat shot 3 people and fatally wounded one of them. It was a 6-day manhunt where finally a standoff between Raoul and police. Police tried to use tasers on him and failed. He then killed himself. Could firearms help bring him to justice? One shot to his chest or arm would have brought him down and brought him to justice. Another event was the Westminster terrorist attack. where PC Keith Palmer gave an unarmed police officer fatally stabbed by a terrorist. Would a firearm saved his life? Is there enough evidence and cases to justify routine arming? England and Wales, public and police opinions. Over the past 10 years in England and Wales, only 23 individuals have been fatally shot by police. But if you compare that to a country such as the USA, over the past 10 years, there have been 3,957 individuals who have been fatally shot by police. It's a staggering difference between the numbers. People in the USA are 100 times more likely to be shot in the police. So do we want that in England and Wales? Well, what do the police think? In a recent poll, 34% supported the idea of routine arming. However, another 42% wanted no routine arming, but training of firearms. Police would rather have different safety precautions, such as double crewing, body-worn videos, and tasers, but all of these depend on government spending and how far they want to stretch their budget. Public opinion on routine arming. In another recent poll, out of a sample of 2,000 individuals, 72% wanted to see more armed police, whereas 20% opposed the idea completely, and a further 8% did not know. So from a public opinion, could we see a rise in police armaments? To conclude, should we routinely arm the police? There are many arguments that support and oppose the idea, with the arguments of support being increased public safety, the initial decrease in crime, and it incredibly stops dangerous individuals immediately. However, is this enough to support the whole act? Whereas there isn't, with a miscarriage of justice being too militarized and there being too many deaths from police, that completely weigh the negatives on should we rearm the police. Overall, due to the evidence gathered, routinely arming the police would not be the best strategy and use of police funding. Other measures for using force should be taken to ensure police safety and public safety. Thank you for listening to my vlog. Cheers.